been another Monday, 12th January of 2026, and everything is fine with you wherever you are. So I want us to go into political discussion, and I hope you can clearly hear me. Yesterday I was supposed to cover this, but I didn't actually make it, so then I'll go back and do other social videos among many. So guys, what is happening to Rigathi Gachagua? Rigathi Gachagua has actually had several attacks, not just physical attacks, but I think that attacks go beyond people surrounding him. We are having other attacks that are actually focusing on having people sent to attack him in making sure that his party is losing it. And I think this is a war that I don't know whether he'll make it to fight successfully or how is he going to go about it. So, of course, most of us have known Moses KURIA as part of the government for the longest time possible. He went about to support the government, and then he pretended to resign, claiming that he's going to actually go and retire. But then, of course, I did a reaction on this and said, there is no way Moses KURIA can retire from politics, active politics. It's very impossible. You know, it's like somebody used to hunting. How would they survive without doing it? Very impossible, right? So Moses KURIA has just come back, and he is strongly standing with UDA. And this was something that many people expected. Of course, when they were talking about many wheelbarrows, he was among those wheelbarrows. The only thing he was doing is to pretend, because actually when you look at Mbeere North, the reason why he actually picked the candidate that Gachagua had dropped and sponsored him to run for the MP seat in Mbeere, then actually pick some votes that would have helped that member from JP Muturi's, group to win. Exactly, you understand what I mean, right? I hope so. So now, of course, it's not Moses KURIA alone, but we also have MUTAHI Kahiga. Now, MUTAHI Kahiga on Sunday just came out clearly to indicate to in charge that he was still in government. He was a very strong member of UDA. And I looked at the comment section. There are a lot of people who are commenting on the same, and they are saying, oh, so it was just a lie. We knew all along it's two-term. We knew all along you are, downplaying. Though some people thought that it was a way to actually just collect what is theirs, but I don't think so. Of course, we said in some of the videos, I normally say that politicians are very cunning and scheming all the time, looking for opportunities. And when opportunities are available, they use it. Now, among the people using these opportunities are some members who actually pretended not to be with the government. But I think of late they have realized that there's no other way. Whatever way they fight, maybe UDA is going to have it. So they have decided to go back to it. And I want us to look at some of the videos right here as we move along and see what is happening out there. And let's start with this, MUTAHI Kahiga and what he said.
What wanakuza kahawa?
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how AI saves me hours every day. It automatically prioritizes.
Tulianza kuniita kanisa hili nikiwa mwalimu. Hukutaja hivyo. Na Wakristo wote, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Muriega. Hamjambo. Nichukue nafasi hii, Your Excellency, kwanza ni wakaribishe wageni wote wakianza na wewe. Najua wewe kila siku tukionana na kuambia unakawia sana kurudi hapa. Unaenda unazunguka, kuwa ukija mara nyingi ndio tuweze kuendelea. Pia wacha nitambue Kiruga na MCAs wale wengine. Niseme kwanza nataka kushukuru kanisa hili kwa sababu ya mwaliko waliotutolea, na niseme I have accompanied you in every function ambao umeitwa Nyeri ya ACK, na tumekuwa na wewe na umekuwa support system yao nzuri sana.
Sasa alright, so look at those statements. If you actually get time to analyze those statements, what do you get? You know, if somebody is not a bootlicker, there is no way you will actually make words sound like they are sweet. And at some point, Mutahi Kahiga said that what he does is to say things as they are. But when I was listening to his speech, I just got somebody who is trying to actually create a face before UDA. He was not saying things as they are. So Saribiero says, Array Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. I don't know. What is this? You're trying to share the stars of the people or something? Okay. So let's go back to this and listen. But from what I listened, I didn't see as if he was talking about the truth. All he was trying to do was to maybe prove a point, something like that. So let's listen again.
Nataka tuone naye profesa aingie naye sana humu. Niseme kama Wakristo ni vizuri tusaidiane kufanya kazi ya Mungu. Na kuna mambo mengi sijui kama president yote umeyasikia. Fungue tu kitabu vile wamesema, tuangalie yale tunaweza na yale ambayo hayawezekani. Niseme tu kwa ukweli, mimi nilipigia Rais William Ruto kura. Yeye ni rais wangu. Mimi ndiye governor wa Nyeri. Sijui kwa nini mnachanganyikiwa. I don't know. Sababu mimi nilimpigia kura akawa rais, na nyinyi mimi sijasikia rais mwingine. Kwa hivyo mimi bado niko na rais.
All right. So among the statements he dropped, that was one statement of reassurance. Why do you think he had to reassure Ruto that is with him? Of course, these are times when people are actually aligning themselves. All right. And so many groups are coming up actually to use their numbers and voices to do what they deem better. And of course, there are those who actually feel like once somebody is on the throne for the 5 years, it's very difficult to actually pluck them out. So what they are doing, they are trying to avoid now the opposition and align themselves back in UDA. And I think one of the people who's doing that is Moses KURIA and MUTAHI Kahiga. Regardless of the moments when people thought that he is turning to be in the opposition, why would he actually come up in a church moment to define himself and tell the president where he belongs? This is a strategy. And it did not just happen, randomly. This is something he had been longing to have. And when he got an opportunity to actually attend this meeting in Nyeri, then he decided to drop the bomb and share all this information so that he gains back, his ground. As you always say, politicians don't have permanent enemies. That is what they say. And even if they are there, they are always scheming, sly, using every opportunity to do what they deem better. And I want us to continue listening more to this speech. There is more to it.
Unaelewa? Na kama governor ni lazima nije nipokee rais, tuongee mambo ya serikali na tuko kazi. Siasa ikifika, mimi watu wa Nyeri wakiona sijafikisha miaka ya kwenda nyumbani wataniambia. Wakisema niwe retired tukae na Kagunda, nitaweza bebea Biblia. Na hii mambo si kuendelea. Your Excellency, as kulingana tuliongea na wewe juzi, ukaniambia ulipoangalia rekodi, the last time you checked the records, mimi nilikuwa member ya UDA, full paid up. Si ni kweli? Sasa nashangaa watu wakiongea mambo mengi sijui nini. I am still a member of UDA. Yeah, that's a fact. Na hata wakati unajua hii mambo iliwaka wakati Itumbe aliwakishia mimi moto, watu ya DCP walinilima, UDA wakanilima, nikakupotea sijui niko wapi. Sasa nikasema tarudi kwa hii raia wania.
All right. Now you heard his statement up to that point. So what was he trying to prove? He was trying to prove that he's not an ally of the opposition. That is why he said alilimwa na UDA na akalimwa na the opposition, but anajaribu kurudi kwa ground wamwambie. Now when somebody speaks like this, he's actually trying to be a remote, creating an environment that will have to allow the channels to move right. And of course in this setting, knowing that the president was there, he was actually trying to create a room that would attract maybe the president to call him alone and maybe summon him so that they have a meeting and plan on things forward. And of course, the plan, or rather the discussions, would surround a way forward in relation to what is necessary for him. You know, our politicians are generally very selfish, self-motivated. And I don't know, when people come up to talk about a selfishness, I don't know. If they thought that Kenya is going to change today or tomorrow, there's nothing like change here. When a politician comes to you, they really want to even make sure that you are fooled, you believe they care about you. But all they are doing is to create a ground that is, friendly for them and, create that amount of, trust from you, make you have trust in them, create that vulnerability in you as a citizen. So generally looking at this statement that he dropped, I actually just see as signs of someone who was trying to create a moment where people would trust him and be ready to actually follow what he's saying. The reality is, even if he describes in whatever amount of words, all that he's saying is simply that he is strongly in the government. All right? Now, Sami Nganga, welcome in the house. Thank you so much. We've taken 12 minutes and we have about 20 more before we finish. Now, I want you to drop comments in relation to what you believe MUTAHI Kahiga was after, because in my opinion, I believe he was actually restructuring himself back to the government or UDA. And no wonder he was speaking as he did right there, okay? So let's continue to listen, then very soon we'll be going to the Gunism. Here we are.
Niambie nitaenda wa na mjue mimi sitaki kukaa kama wifi ati unaweza connect anywhere. Lazima tuwe na mpango. Si ni kweli? Kwa hivyo mimi ningetaka niwaombe na nimekuwa nikiambia watu wa Nyeri and everybody else, tutambue nyakati. Let us differentiate times and seasons. Ikifika ni wakati ya kazi, tufanye nini? Siku za siasa zitakuja, tuchapane, tuweke, mkitaka kutoa nguo mtoe, lakini for now let us say to support rais afanye, ahakikishe yale mambo angetaka kufanya. Si ni kweli? Hii ingine yote ni hulabalu ambayo itakuja 2027. Kitu moja rais nataka tu nikuambie, sababu Kiruga na wengine wanataja watu wengi wamepewa kazi. If they are working for you, and I want to challenge them here, simama kama Kiruga. Kuwa ukiongea juu ya rai. You cannot be working for a man and you don't speak well of him. Ama namna gani? Kama unamfanyia kazi, simama imara. Ukiona.
Okay, now up to that point, did you get the specific argument he was raising here? Now, of course, he's not just campaigning for himself, but he's trying to lay a strategy. All right, and therefore I would actually challenge those people who thought that Kahiga is against the government. He was not. You know, sometimes they always say that if somebody wants to win the hand of the government, you must at some point stand out as if you are arguing against the government. Then later on you come in slowly by slowly, create your channel, create your space. And once you do that, then you create a platform. And that is exactly what I believe that MUTAHI Kahiga has been doing. Of course, you can see the statements he has given. We've done analysis from the beginning. At this point, he says that people should take a ground. He says he doesn't want to be a Wi-Fi. What does he mean? He means he has, he has now communicated to the president. And of course, what I know with Ruto will just actually call him upon him. And once they meet and talk, before you know it, Kahiga will be actively campaigning for Ruto. And we once told the people of Mountain stop pretending that you are one voice. You are no longer one voice. That one voice was actually spread out when Uhuru Kenyatta actually lost the hand of all of them from supporting him. And therefore, we had those who are against Uhuru Kenyatta and those who are for Uhuru Kenyatta. And since then, be sure, there is no way people will be together as Mount Kenya. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Since then, we have a team that is either for and against, whether they are for ODM or for whichever and against, okay? Now let's listen now.
Wanalegea Your Excellency, ondoa tupatie watoto wengine. Ama namna gani? That one is a fact. Na unajua mimi I shoot straight. Si ni kweli? Kwa hivyo leo mimi nimekuja kuungana nanyi na niwashukuru kwa sababu one of the things I can tell you, Your Excellency, Bishop Kagonda was very progressive. Wakati unapomuona pale, the ACK Mount Kenya West has been left wonderfully built all the way. Hata wakati kulitangazwa ikasemekana harambee zisifanywe, we were somewhere in Madeira and he said he allows you to go and join build the churches of God. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri tukubaliane, wale ambao tunaendelea hata kule tumetoka, kazi ziendelee namna hiyo.
These books are this. Maybe. Kind of success. Okay, there's something I'm checking here. Kirutan. That's a problem. Alright guys, there's something I'm trying to research on and I'm kind of from sharing what I'm doing here, but let me see. Shortly, I'm just checking on something and see what to do. ALT 808. I'm telling you, it's hassling. But anyway, let's proceed with our discussion. And of course, what I was saying is that away from the Kahiga story and Kuria story, you remember that we had Wamchomba recently actually standing out to support, much of supporting the government. As far as she was not speaking it, you could read between the lines and establish that she was for the government. That is why she was actually talking about Gachagua and all that. I don't know. It looks to me like there is a lot under the waters. A lot under the waters. And I'm not sure who can later us understand the nitty-gritties of politics, but when I look at the Gunic behavior, actually a typical behavior of Kenya, I saw something that Gachagua was trying to expose about Joho, using Joho to split ODM. And that is why today in my title you can actually see ODM and something to do with Kahiga. And I just want us to go into a video posted by Plug TV, and let's try to follow it up.
ChatGPT works best with detailed prompts, but I hate typing them. So instead, I dictate.
Mimi niambie watu ya ODM msitumiwe na Ruto kutukana Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta alijaribu kusaidia nyinyi, kusaidia baba apate uongozi.
They say if you want to survive the political jungle of Kenya, the veterans will tell you three things. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer, never, under any circumstances, ignore Rigathi Gachagua.
Juzi nimesema mambo ya mfanyabiashara hako na mall pale Isili anafinya wakulima wetu wa mchele. Hao MPs wananipiga.
Whether you call him Rigiji or the truthful man, the former deputy president has a habit of saying the quiet parts out loud. And right now, he is pointing a very steady finger at a brewing storm within ODM.
Alimsaidia hapa mlimani na 1.3 million votes. Nyinyi wenyewe mkakosa kwenda kupiga kura mkaanguka. Kwa hivyo msilaumu Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Shida ya ODM ni William Ruto.
The peace at the Orange House was shattered just 3 days ago when Hassan Joho, the Sultan of the Coast and the current mining CS, allegedly led a mutiny that demanded he be installed as the official leader of ODM, or they will stage a mass exodus if Joho is bypassed by the party.
Ikiwa chama cha ODM hakitapewa Ali Hassan Joho, sisi wa Coast, we have to champion another political pathway.
Malizana hiyo kushindikana tuchukue chama na sisi hatutafanya NMB, tutachukua hiyo original. Hatakuwa kama ile ya Kalonzo ya nusu chungwa na nusu. Tutachukua hiyo original. Manake tuko na shares hata sisi kubwa kwa hiyo chama.
Okay, so this is about shares, guys, and you remember I talked about it recently, saying that these parties and the individuals within them, all they do is to talk to us and convince us that they are after the welfare of the citizens, but unfortunately that's not the situation. The reality is that politicians are after shares, and whether we like it or not, some of them will not talk about it, but the reality is that maybe we should just now go to the Gunic behavior and see what happened in Gatundu, because it was not, it was not situations as usual. Let's watch that.
In today's Kenya, proximity to Rigathi Gachagua has become a health hazard. Support him and you risk police brutality. Oppose him and get recruited by the same police. However, with similar consequences. On Sunday the 11th, Gatundu offered proof that neutrality was not an option here. If you were anywhere near Gachagua at that time, pain was guaranteed.
Mimi ndio dawa ya Kasongo. Akisikia mimi anahara. Ndio ananitumia wakora ya kunipiga.
The trouble started as Rigathi Gachagua's motorcade rode into Gatundu for a church service. Inside the sanctuary were worshippers. Outwardly suspected to be on the state's secret payroll. Looking ready for a skirmish. However, they quickly learned that market research is vital before accepting a contract. Gachagua supporters, acting as an impromptu ushering team, spotted the invaders before a single club could be swung. What followed was pure full body massage administered on them. At the very any mayhem these youths were paid to incite was visited upon them with interest. Reports suggest that the captured goons were aggressively welcomed in Gatundu into such a state of spiritual clarity that they began catching glimpses of the afterlife. Confessing their employer's name was the only way to avoid getting a permanent residency in the afterlife. But the Rikichi experience spared no one. While the goons were receiving their beatific corrections outside, the congregation inside the sanctuary was treated to a different kind of holy fire. Under the thin guise of dispersing goons, the police managed to fill the house of worship with a choking grey cloud.
Alright guys, so the Gunic behavior of course continues, it goes on. But as I said, I insist that the effect will be on the common citizens. And those who are accepting to be hired as goons, of course, might also suffer, because you have just seen what happened in Gatundu. In case you've been hired, then you're caught, your pants down in the process. What happens? You're going to have the worst day of your existence. I doubt whether you'll ever do it. And I think out of this, people should learn that it's good sometimes to use your brains. Even when you are hired, use your brains. And even why should you be hired to be a goon anyway? Because goonic habits only allow violence. They don't allow anything else. And in the process of violence, you can either lose it or gain it. And maybe you are not gaining it directly. The person gaining it is the one who hired you. So it's always good that people use their brains and avoid what can lead them into, dead ends. Otherwise, have a nice time. We'll meet later for more videos.